that we're doing in your community. First, I definitely need to give a shout out to VFW and, to thank all our veterans for, all the work and sacrifice they have had and given our country and our city. And hopefully we could build a city that's worthy of that service. So I just wanted to appreciate and make that shout out. So today our firm is involved in several different components of this community, and it starts at the pedestrian bridge and kind of goes along. Our firm is currently working with GFO and the Galbert family built 5 Park and also the Canopy Park, and we're in the middle of building the bridge. And the bridge is a very complicated project. Not only to build it responsibly, but to also satisfy all the codes and requirements that FDOT has. But we also have very limited real estate. And so today, we're going to show you a little bit of kind of the difficulties we've been having. As just so you know, I'm as frustrated as anyone because I'd really like to get that bridge open as soon as possible. But we got to do it the right way. We can't sacrifice the infrastructure in our community. And right through where we're building this bridge is where all the water lines, stormwater, FPL duct banks are going to serve South Beach. And so we have very little real estate left. And recently, we were forecasted to complete the job first quarter of 2027. And we had utility impacts with FPL. Basically, when you're doing these jobs and you're working on the underground, you get as-built drawings for the existing conditions, whether there's water lines or sewer lines or an FPL duct bank that's running through the area. And we got to locate, right? So basically FPL calls a locate and they tell you, well, our duct bank is in this location and it's around 30 feet down, et cetera, so that we could avoid, our foundations can avoid it. We do preparatory kind of digging. And we actually recently dug and where our foundations were going, and we actually hit the duct bank. We went back to FPL. We said, hey, there's a duct bank here. And then now they revised the location. And so what that requires is for our team, which is working tirelessly to redesign the engineering for the south side of the bridge. The north side of the bridge is in good shape. We've also relocated and rerouted all the AT&T telecom tree locations, water main south, and drainage wells. Our marketing team's also going to do something to beautify the area. As we're revising the permits and getting those redone, we're going to be kind of cleaning up kind of the entry because it's such an important part of the identity of Miami Beach and everybody coming here. So we're working with FDOT to get some very nice looking fencing so that it could really be a little more inviting while we're building it. But you have our commitment. We're not stopping. We continue to move forward and working through these areas. And you could see a little bit in that map. And anyone that has any details or questions, my email is david@terragroup.com. I'd love to answer any questions that are more detail oriented on this. But we also have Hector, who's our project manager, that's here, and he's available. I don't know where he is, but he's available here to answer any questions. And I know Hector's been working during the construction with Tim on how we can mitigate the impact. At the end of the day, our goal is we have to, build in our community. We got to do it responsibly, and we got to do it mitigating the impacts. And we're always trying to listen to SoBe West and getting a lot of calls from the community in order to try to do the right thing. So that's kind of the pedestrian bridge. So really what we're doing right now is re-engineering the foundations, resubmitting it through FDOT. We have a specialized consultant that works with the Department of Transportation, and that's going to be accelerating the permitting for that. So just wanted to give you that quick heads up why you don't see as much activity on the site than you should. Next thing is we basically, if we've completed the bay walk between 10th and 12th, there's a picture here on the right side. And obviously we all know the big goal of Miami Beach is to improve pedestrian connectivity, having people connected and being able to walk and bike and really be able to enjoy the waterfront and really create that loop from south of 5th over to the beach walk all the way to Lincoln Road, back up and around. It's kind of a big, important job. And I think it's, everybody's kind of focused on trying to really create a better walkable community along the waterfront. And so as part of our 5-park development agreement, we one of our public benefits was building that Baywalk, and we've just completed that. So I just wanted to show that for a second. The next thing is 1250 West Avenue. That project has a few components that are part of the development agreement. One of them is responsibly taking the unhoused and putting them in the right facilities where they could have medical care and services and whatnot, which was a big job and responsibility. So that took place already. The 1250 project got approved late June. The closings happened around late July, and the team has already filed their demo permit for the Bikini Hostel. So we're just getting through plan review, and our gut is by December we'll have the permit, and a few weeks later we'll be able to start demo and really move forward with that. We also are working on the existing building. Part of our development agreement is a tenant relocation assistance for the existing tenants that live there. Today there's around 108 residents that still live there, and we're allowing them to stay there for another 4.5 months. After that occurs, we'll go through the permitting process for the demolition of 1250, and that's going to require a lot of different things like FPL cutoff letters, water and sewer cutoff letters. But the goal is that our goal is to try to demo during the summer, which is probably the least impact for the community. And I was talking to some of the board members at 1228 next door, and that's really our target. And I think we could really synchronize that. So we'll work with the city, and the city's been very pushing us to push on demoing the Bikini Hostel as soon as possible, and also when it's the right time to demo the 1250 building as soon as possible. So we've also, kind of during the construction phase of any project, one of the big things is, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And so for us, it's kind of like, how do we provide the right looking and quality fencing in order to kind of really have a vacant site and comply to all those vacant lot standards, and also try to create a little more energy around the neighborhood and improvements and kind of excitement about what West Avenue, what an amazing place it is to live here, et cetera. So, big picture on 1250, there was a reduction of density. So overall, it had around 240 units, give or take, and the new project's going to have 100 units. So it's going to be less from a traffic impact and water and sewer impact and everything else. But just wanted to share a little update around 1250. Another big part of here's some of the milestones of the Bikini Hostel. And then the other thing is the Baywalk. So not only did we complete for the 5-park project, we completed the Baywalk between 10th and 12th, but now we have 3 new Baywalks that we're working on. So we're working very closely, meeting with the city and the boards of 800 West, of 1228, and of 1450. And so that there are certain interesting dilemmas that we have to work through. Not only do we need easements, we also have a submerged land leases that we have to kind of work with the state in order to adopt and get the right permitting and rights to be able to build them. So we've been working very closely with our firm Dock and Marine, who has an immense amount of experience in working in this field, and they actually worked and completed the Baywalk at 10th and between 10th and 12th. We also have been engaging all the surveyors and whatnot to really. So this kind of shows you a very rough kind of perspective of how we're creating the Baywalk and how it's going to be ADA accessible and how it's going to be protected. And some of the questions have to do with privacy, right? 1450 does not want people looking in at their building. So how do we work on the landscape side? How do we work on wayfinding? How do we really manage the park hours, if you will, for the Baywalk, so that not only is it an amenity for the community, but it's not a hindrance at night, et cetera, to house people that maybe want to do the wrong thing here. So, but the big idea is that, for us, we're working with the city, we're working with the state agencies in order to get a permit for what is allowable to be built so that we could have a continuous Baywalk, but also to be able to work with the board members to mitigate any impacts for having people walk, along the Baywalk behind their buildings. So 1450 is one. The second one is 1228. So that's right next door to 1250, and so we're going to be building, hopefully, and working on permitting that Baywalk, and then the last one obviously is 800 West, and be working obviously with the board at 800 West, and one of the members is here, and so we're looking at ways to make sure that we could have a continuous loop. It's a little complicated. People have certain legal rights. Certain condo associations have certain areas that have been designated as part of their master association property. So there's a whole legal process that we're navigating with the board. But I think the boards have been very cooperative, and it's kind of like this thinking about, we got to think of the region and the neighborhood first rather than selfishly their building. And I think they see the benefit of having a continuous pedestrian connection around Miami Beach and around South Beach as a positive for the neighborhood. And so we've been getting a really good collaboration, and there's still a lot of work to do. So just, if I didn't introduce myself, I'm David Martin at Terra, and I'm going to be working and my team, Andrea here, Dominguez, is running the 1250 initiatives for the Baywalk, and so Hector and Andrea are here and available to answer any questions or comments, and just really appreciate all of you for spending the time, and I'm here to see how we could help make the neighborhood better, and I think it's not only about our building or our project. The better the neighborhood is, the more people want to live here, and the better for all of our assets. And so anything that I can do to help you guys or help the neighborhood, I'm here to do that. Yes, ma'am.
So on the Baywalk section behind the Mirador and the Mondrian, you don't intend to put any railings or any barriers? It's just flat, and you say people are bike riding down that thing with
No bikes.
No bikes. It's only walk. So
their bikes all the time.
all right.
So you don't intend to put any railings where those.
So that's something we should bring up, right? I think that just because this is the scope of work we completed, that we had to complete, but if railings are something the community wants to see, we could definitely take a look at how that would work.
Safety point of view, don't you think it's an essential?
There's no ratings, yes.
Yeah.
We have the boardwalk already, just not on those parts. And the boardwalk has been there for many years, and there's never been graders.
There are
That is nice because people
there's a
like to
place where you
see,
can sit up.
and watch the sunset.
There are railings. There are indeed concrete, at least with
But I think it's a good point. Listen, the bottom line is, I think railings are something we should study. I think it's something that we'll look at for the 3 new sections that we have to do. And then for this existing section, we'll sit down with the city and try to work on a solution. We'll come back at next meeting and
I don't mean railings that are high and
right. Just something for protection.
Quite frankly, that would obscure the view from the pool deck.
Exactly.
Of every building. So
Right.
we don't want railings.
Right.
But really, to have it flat with no protection for people walking across that. Who is in charge of the security here? Kids running across and pushing each other and playing. I mean, that's me.
The park rangers will be in charge, and like I said, to step up enforcement and signage for no bikes and
But
things
you
from
know
that
what I'm
perspective.
saying? I mean, really, there's no lip of any sort to protect anyone, and that seems a
It's a
little
good-
short-sighted.
It's a very good point, and we'll take that into account. And I'll come back next meeting with some updates on that. Let me study it a little more. Yes,
I
ma'am.
just wonder whose liability it is if somebody gets hurt, say behind our building.
Uh,
I mean, you understand that this is happening already for 5 years, right?
yes, ma'am.
There are lips everywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to piggyback on that and
Yeah.
address the government people who are you are a private company and you are working for a private company, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is public development, and in most places, public development is done by the government. In this particular case, if we are so anti-development as the commissioners say we are, these things are used as a way for private companies to get waivers to build around government issues. Conceptually speaking, I would like to object to that. I think government property belongs to be built by the government. I am not by private people who get waivers because they're doing us a favor. You are not accountable to the community, you are accountable to your developer. And pleasing us is really not the issue. Safety that the government provides is the issue. And
Can
you
I
don't really have to do that.
can I respond to?
Money is your issue.
Could-
Not putting fencing in that's safe is your issue. Not hiring police or security guards, not having anything that costs you extra money, that's your issue. That's the business of business.
So
The business of government is to protect the people. End of story.
thank you, ma'am. So I think you made some really good points, right? I think first, let's just talk about procurement in general. When the government is doing work, they're hiring private contractors, private engineers, private architects in order to perform the work, just like we are. In this case, we're assuming the cost of that, and we're also able to kind of project manage and execute the job, still complying to all the codes and regulations and everything that the government would provide. So all I'm saying is, and I completely respect what you're saying. I just think that public-private partnerships are something that's happened in our country for decades. And we need to figure out a way where we could build more trust with one another. I'm not saying you need to trust me today. I'm not saying you need to trust me tomorrow. But no.
Who are claiming we're anyway.
No, but I respect what you're saying. I just want you to know that we care, at least at my current firm, about stakeholders, not only shareholders, and we try to do things in the best way we can. But you're right. Private sector and capitalism, sometimes you could hack capitalism to kind of solve some things that maybe have been lingering for a while. And so my job here is just to do what I'm obligated to do, which is build.
It's the using as an excuse that I object.
Got it. No problem.
That's a simple,
Got it.
Simple
no problem. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
David, thank you. First, I want to thank you. Look, we are all going to benefit from this bridge going, and I think the community at large is very thankful to have that. A little bit of cart before the horse, and I just want to make you aware of something. So, when this bridge goes in, as it stands right now, without a deal made with my friend Aileen here in South Bay Club, we have a bay walk to nowhere. Right? It dead ends at the end of my property. I'm the president of the Floridian. I have a lot of constituents that's really concerned about security for our building. And you're standing about 40 feet away from the entrance to our south pool here. And with the dead end at the end of our property, people walking on the bay walk have to do a 360 around the parade, right?
Right.
We've already had one unfortunate instance with Commissioner Magazine that everybody was aware of. So we're very security conscious. So what I would urge you is that that bridge gets done before the deal with our friends at South Bay gets done. We're going to have a bigger problem of people not knowing where to go. As it is now, the bridge dumps out on the side of Side Park, and the first thing they're doing is looking left. How do I get to the bay walk? And my friend Tim is going to have to deal with that because he's going to want to walk through his driveway, right? That's the first thing they see.
Yeah.
They'll go a little further on the second driveway.
Right.
And then once they get in there, there's no exit right now. So I know you're aware of this,
Yeah.
but I want to let you know that my community is extremely concerned about this.
Yeah. So I think what we got to do is, two things. We have to work with 800 and satisfy them in order to be able to get the project done and get the bay walk built. I think this delay on the utility side could be a little bit of a blessing, so that the bridge isn't up and it's in action. And so what we'll do is we'll come up with a schedule for the bay walk. And now that we'll get some clarity from FDOT on the permitting side to try to synchronize the timing of when the bridge is going to complete and when that bay walk's going to be done, assuming obviously that Eileen and the board gives us, and we satisfy them in order to be able to get the easements done in order to build what we have to build. But again, I think it is a positive. Sometimes we do have some growing pains that we got to get through and hurdles we got to go through together, but I'm here to work with you all, and if the synchronization of 800 is very critical to this bridge, let's see how we could synchronize those two things to happen at the same time. Yes, ma'am.
And just in terms of stakeholders being involved in this bay walk, I can tell you, I live in the near to 1000. I take back from these meetings to my building manager more information about the Baywalk than she has ever known herself. In other words, Galbit has never communicated, from what I know, with our building, in which a third of this Baywalk is in front of, anything about the proposal for how it would look, when it would be open, whether we actually do have egress and ingress from there to the pool deck,
Right.
from the Baywalk to the pool deck. I come to these meetings all the time. I go back to my building manager and I say, are you aware, this is the person you need to talk to. David Gomez, Lauren Fertel, they can tell you more. But
So I think what we have to do is because these projects are so impactful to your daily life, we got to come to these SoBe West meetings on a monthly basis and just update you on the progress of each item. I think that's what we got to do. It's the only way. If we have that consistency in communication, then people are going to have that understanding, I think, and I take responsibility too for it. The Baywalk, I thought everybody kind of knew what was, wrongfully, what was going on with the Baywalk. So we're moving forward with the permits and getting it done, trying to get it done as timely as we could. But I think it's on us to communicate better, and I think this forum is a great forum for us to do that. So we'll hopefully, with Tim's permission, be able to come here and have an update on all these projects on a monthly basis, just so you could see, even if it's a small update, we'll do that, and so that everyone can have better information. Thank you.
And take action on your input as well.
Yeah.
We do value that.
Yep.
It's very important.
Yes, sir.
David, I want to thank you. I live kitty corner from the Bikini Hostel, and I know it's about to be demolished, but the appearance of the property is the best that it's looked in many, many years. I can even remember. So thank you for cleaning that up and that eyesore.
Yeah.
And we appreciate
We've been talking about the Bikini for forever. So I think it was a big chapter for all of us to have that hopefully close. Yes, sir.
Sorry if I missed, but when will demolition of 1250 commence?
So right now the owners have a certain timeline to be able to post occupancy agreement that they're able to live, and so my gut is probably around 4.5 months, give or take, is that timeline that we have to give everyone to be there. And then I would say it'll probably take around 3 months to get the permits. So our goal is around in the next 8 months, so sometime in the summer, sir.
The permitting hasn't begun yet.
So what happens when you're doing demolition permits, you need to get an FPL cutoff letter and a water and sewer cutoff letter, but you can't do that until the building's vacant. And so because of the post-occupancy agreements we have with the existing tenants, we have to wait till they all vacate, which is around 4.5 months from today. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
This topic, to build on what my neighbor was saying, I'm curious to know, just so we all know what your process is,
Sure.
that rendering of the Baywalk with no lift and no guardrails.
It's not a rendering. That's an actual photo. That's an actual photo of it today.
Today.
Yes. It's not a render.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was built.
Yeah, it's right behind 1012. Yeah, right behind 1000.
And our commissioners did approve it.
So it's really not like what happens is there's a regulatory agencies that kind of govern what happens in like above water. A lot of times it's state, and because you're working in the and with submerged land, right? So you're working on top of the bay. So we designed it with the specifications that we had, and we tried to be consistent with the other baywalks that exist. The bottom line is, if railings are something that's very important to this community, we're going to study it, and I'll come back with some opening ideas on how we could achieve that. But right now, that baywalk and a lot of baywalks, there's a lot of baywalks all over the city of Miami, for instance, and all the baywalks are kind of open without any barricade. But if this community wants kind of some sort of more protection, we'll totally design that into the baywalk system, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Thank you very much for this update. I really appreciate it. My question is, when you demolish 12 Fisher, I'm assuming you can't implode it since it's surrounded by a
Sure.
building. You will have to use mechanical means.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you have any idea how long that after you get the permits that the mechanical means to get to demo it will take?
So it's a question of demo. I think probably the building will be coming down, I would say probably 3 to 4 months. but then there'll be the kind of the separation of materials and the, you know, the steel, the concrete, and the debris, et cetera, and kind of organizing that so that they go to the appropriate landfills. And so they have to do testing and whatnot. So that'll take a little longer, I think another 2 or 3 months. But the main demo will probably take around 3 to 4 months.
And is there any risk of asbestos flying in the building?
So we basically have to do asbestos removal prior to the demo. And so we already did that for Bikini Hostel. So we're in the process of doing that now there. And then in the building, we'll be doing, once the building gets vacated, we have a contractor that's an expert certified or whatever that does the asbestos removal, then we do the demo.
So you're saying that 3 to 4 months after the demo permit is issued, then by the time you get the mechanical means to demo it, it'll take.
Right. So here's kind of what happens. Asbestos removal will happen before we need the FPL cutoff letter and et cetera, because we could do that without the demo permit. It's a special, asbestos removal is a special permit. So we'll work on the asbestos removal while we're getting the demo permit. And then right when we get the demo permit, we'll start demo. Yep. Yep. Thank you. Yep.
All right,
Yes.
thank you, David. One last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy, go ahead.
So David, hi.
Hi.
Could you please explain to me
Yes.
exactly what goes on in that baywalk? Is that a grid that's in the center of it? Because I looked at the mood van, it looked like there was a grid in the center of it, like a cutout.
So maybe Hector, you could answer that?
Yeah, it's a grid, and the intent is that if you need to look at the structure itself, you can be able to move those and actually access the structure below.
Okay, so I thought maybe it was if
it's
the
also for
water came
too.
up. Okay.
If water comes up as well, then it's not a
Drain.
structure on structure, and it'll be able to get up.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it also light in for the bay grasses too?
It's for seagrass. For seagrass. Yeah, it could be, but I'm not 100% but it could be.
Because
Yeah.
my thinking is, if it's like that, you don't want to really be like rollerblading on it, riding a bicycle on it. You don't want to be doing that on here.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And you'll see me next month. I promise. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so we have about 12 more minutes left here, but it's going to be a very engaging conversation. But before we go there, I have to do one more quick announcement. I noticed somebody walked in the room. It's Monica Mateo Salinas. Raise your hand. So, during the campaign season, she was in the most crowded group I've ever seen, and she got the most votes, so congratulations.
Pink, you're gonna love
Get out and vote.
It looks great already.
Okay, so December 9th, we need your participation, so please participate, and let's get this done so we can get back to business and ready for 2026.
And
Thank
early
you.
voting is the 6th and 7th, I think. 5
Yep.
and 7. 5, 6, 7.
Okay, and announcement for patches. You said it. Go ahead.
These are, if you notice today's theme about the parade and everything was Rosie the Riveter. And there's a riveter right there. So, these patches, Rosie the Riveter, honoring the Girl Scouts, VFW, and our people. They're a fundraiser. They're $10 a piece. And we'll have them up at the bar if you want to grab one, okay?
Thank you. And then, for many of you all who remember, back in 2016, we finished Phase I renovation from 5th Street to 8th Street. So again, the Bentley Bay, the Floridian, and South Bay Club all experienced a couple of years of inconvenience for that. Now our neighbors to the north on Lincoln Road, Bay Road, they're living and breathing in Lincoln Court as well today. So we have Stefan here again to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and where we go from here until we get prepared for Phase 3. Stefan?
Let me just go back there. I don't need a presentation. I can do it faster. Okay, so my name is Stefan Ginez. I'm the owner of Hotel Gathering on Lincoln Road. I've been involved with this project since 2017. So it's been 8 years. 2017 is when the contract was awarded to the contractor Rickman. It's been a long process, and I thought it would be a perfect timing to give you an update. And reason why I want to give you an update is because, first of all, I do not work for the city. I just happen to see what's happening there. I'm trying to help my neighbors. I'm very lucky in a sense that, like, I do have parking for my guests. We pay for it. but I'm concerned about my neighborhood and my neighbors, and I'm trying to help them as much as I can. The reason why, there's three main reasons why I think it's a good time to talk about it now. The first one is we just finished mainly finished, except for Monica, the campaign, and I've heard quite a few things during the campaign, and most of what I've heard is partially inaccurate. What I've heard is that, hey, we're moving along and it's going, and I'm concerned about the description of what some people might have said about it's going. It's definitely going. Is it going well? I'm not sure. And the second reason why I wanted to share with you what's going on is because there's a little bit of frustration. You know, I want to acknowledge that we've been working with this group since 2017, and it's getting very difficult to get some answers to some other questions. And I want to make a difference there also about we always got the help from elected official. Everybody that was in this room has always gone out of their way to help us. And I can really mean that, and I really appreciate that. It got a little bit more difficult with staff. And the third reason why I want to bring this issues is because even if you don't leave north of the Waverly, you're next. You're going to be, once the north of the Waverly is done, the same process is going to happen for south of the Waverly. And I think it's important to reassess where we're at and learn something from this project. During the process since 2017, one of the things been difficult for us as a group is we've been accused to try to stall and stop the project, I don't know, many times. And I want to bring back a little bit of facts about this. We've been able through the 7 or 8 years to accomplish a lot. And again, this was accomplished with the help of the elected official. So again, thank you for your help. You know, just some of the obstacles we went through. At one time, right on Lincoln Road, staff tried to convince us that we should build in the middle of Lincoln Road a generator and electrical component from the pumps and all of this. Well, it took a lot of time at that time, and I remember Mark Samuelian was still alive, and he helped us, and everybody else who was elected at that time helped us, and we were able to move this. We've also been able to negotiate a much better agreement for the residents. If we wouldn't have got involved, any work to be done because of this construction on your property would have been paid by you, the resident, per property. Just to give you an example, the Waverly paid $700,000 or $800,000 to correct the what we call the harmonization. With the new agreement we got from the city, you will pay $0 in this harmonization agreement. So that means that the city will be responsible for it. So there's more things that we've been able to push for more parking because the team didn't realize that we were losing more than 100 parking spaces. We've been fighting hard, and Nancy here, we've been able to grab 6, 7 parking space there and a few other ones. And again, with help of commissioners, we've been able to get a lot better project. So altogether, I feel that we're in a much better place from the resident side about what we got. But there are some issues that we're really concerned about. Is the biggest issue, I think, at this time is, you know, when we learned from previous project, and one of the first one was Palm and Hibiscus, we learned some lessons. And some of them, we got them through the Inspector General. Some of them we got because we got more investigation. And the number one lesson we got, and that was approved by the city, is it's been such a mess that from now on, whenever we're going to do a job like this, we're going to do one segment at a time, and we will not go to the next segment until the last coat of asphalt is finished, because so we don't create a big mess everywhere. That agreement lasted until we started, and it's no longer the case. So if you're looking at our project right now, we have segment 1, which is what you've seen for a year and a half, I believe now, which is the part in front of Trader Joe, in front of the post office. That's segment one. There's two parts in segment one. There's a street and then the parking lot. The street is not reopened. It might reopen one day, but then we'll work on the next section south. So West Avenue is not going to be reopened most likely until 2029. And I'll go back to that number. The parking lot is also not going to be reopened next to the post office until 2028, late 2028 or early 2029. So these are hard facts that I think need to be shared with everybody. I think you have the right to know what's going on with this. Again, right now, instead of working one segment, so I was describing segment one in front of the post office. Segment two is Lincoln Road and the two little extension of Lincoln Court and Bay Road. That's segment two. Segment three is all the way going from Lincoln Road, going all the way to 15 Court. So currently, we're working on all these three at the same time. So we throw away the agreement, and the contractor asked to do it that way because it was easier for him to mobilize his equipment. Could see why. But not only it's very difficult for us to access our neighborhood, it's difficult to go to the post office, and it's really problematic. The biggest issue that we had also right now is like we keep on seeing the deadline moving. We first were told it's going to take 8 months to do our segment. Then we were told 10 to 12 months. And yesterday at 6:30, I was finally told, let's look at next summer to finish just the existing segment. All this information is I got because I had to dig hard to get it. This is not publicly announced. This is not shared with the elected official. I'm sure all of you are surprised about this information. We have a big issue about how information is communicated, and it's just the beginning. The biggest reason why we experience a lot of delays right now is because the contractor was provided with a set of plans that doesn't match the reality. That means that every time they start digging anywhere in these three segments, they hit the water main, the sewer line, the stormwater system, the internet, or gas line. So the plan had to be completely revised, and now they have a team that is assigned to just digging holes a little bit everywhere and see what's there, because the plan is not useful. This results in more delays. The relationship between the city and the contractor is far from being great. The contractor asked at the beginning, please let us out of the contract. The city refused. We had a litigation between the two. The litigation starting at 2.9 million. Then we went to 9 million. Now we're somewhere in between. And as far as I know, it is still not resolved from a year ago. But we have a process now to address discrepancies or cost differences in the future. This project will end up costing a lot more money than what we were told. A lot more money than what we were told. And that's a really big concern that we have. And there's no real trust right now, I can tell you that, between the contractor and the team at City Hall. The contractor knows that they have to document everything to make sure they're going to get paid. So whenever they hit a water main, everything stops. They take pictures, they do a full report. City does the same thing. We're in the middle, and we were without street lights for almost 3 weeks for the last section of Lincoln Road. Finally got it repaired, except for for Bay Road. One side of Bay Road, we still don't have it because the wiring the cable is destroyed and they need to run it above. And they're kind of hoping the street will be redone before we complain too much about not having a light. This has been, pretty much hell for all of us. Just want to give you a little situation about what happened during on election day. My manager at the hotel arrived and said, I can't access the hotel. So the contractor had decided that because they were going to install the sewer line there to barricade the hotel. So that day I couldn't function. I was very lucky that we reached out to the mayor's office and Blake was available. He jumped on it, and thank you, Tim, for facilitating this. But the reason why we had to reach to Blake is because at the end of the day, after 24 hours, the team told us, we do not have a solution for you at this time. So we had to reach out to elected official to get that done. One of the main reasons I think why we're in the middle of this mess is because since 2017, we have no leadership on the top of this project. This is mainly CIP, which is one department, but whenever you want to fix something, you have to involve Public Works. If you want to add any barricades, you have to add transportation. And then if you want to communicate something, it's either through a third party, Heather, who's been trying to do the best she can, but because she's not an employee at the city, they very often don't answer to her. So it's a pretty sad situation at the end. And so CIP is going to make a request to Public Works, and Public Works is going to take forever to answer. And there's nobody above that said, you need to answer this right now. These people have no streets, no street light. When we had no street light, Tim reported to me that some people fell on the sidewalk. We had sidewalk completely blocked. We have no direction. If you're a pedestrian, try to go to the post office, good luck. So this is really difficult. I mean, we've been saying this issue about not having management that on the top of this department is creating a nightmare. And you would think that we went through so many different projects at a time that this would have been resolved by now. Nope, we're doing exactly the same thing that we're done before. Yes,
Can I just add
sure,
also one
please.
little thing? Because we have had our water cut off, and where we're not notified, our water is just cut off. We've called Public Works and we've gotten misinformation from them. So we act on that misinformation and we end up with a big plumbing bill, right? So there's really almost nobody to go to. So we resort now to just walking down the street and talking to the construction guys and hoping we can get some good information from them.
And what Nancy is bringing up is, so when they hit a water main, the reason we find out is because you have residents who all of a sudden are taking a shower and realize there's no more water. The proper protocol, because I was told we have to follow protocol, is then CIP, when the contractor find out, they will call CIP. CIP will call Public Works. Public Works will dispatch a person and would put flyers on every door he can have access to. It's a red flyers that it pre-painted. We've been asking since June, could you please set up a text system to notify people when things like this happen? We were told that the system needs to be secured, it needs to be worked on, plenty of excuses. I put more pressure yesterday, and I was finally told yesterday, you know what, we might try to use WhatsApp. Since June, 5 months, and we're going to go back to WhatsApp. This is trying to get information about what's happening, and thank you, David, for being involved with all the buildings to help with the Baywalk. Let me just actually say something, and I understand how some people feel about who should be responsible for the Baywalk. I would like to quote Commissioner Magazine, who asked during a commission meeting, how many feet of Baywalk did we build as a city? The answer is 0. 0. We have never been able to build one because we don't solve problems with the residents. We don't listen to the residents. We don't understand. I was very happy to hear David acknowledging some of the concern that Nancy has with her own property. That makes me feel happy that at least somebody listens to what